All right, it's time we start graphing some logs. Now, there's a few ways of graphing logs. I'm going to show you my personal favorite way of graphing logs. All right, so the first thing I like to do is I like to write down my parent function, right? So in that case, this would be y equals log base 2 of x. All right, that's going to be my parent function. Now, what I do next is, because it can be a little less intuitive to evaluate logs and pick proper numbers for x, I like to rewrite the exponential form of this, which would be 2 to the y equals x. And now I'm going to make a t-chart based off of that, because it's easier for me to pick exponents and evaluate than it is to pick the argument of a log and then evaluate. All right, so for exponents, I'm going to be picking my y values here. 2 to the 0 power, easy number. So I'd put 0 in for my y, and then when I evaluate that, 2 to the 0 would be 1. And if I do, let's see here, how about 1 for y? So 2 to the first power, that would be 2. And 2 to the second power, that would be 4. So these xy coordinates are now my parent function for this log. And I'm going to actually graph that in a light blue. Okay, I'm going to graph these in a light blue, and then we're going to do some transformations off of that. All right, so what we notice about this parent function that we have here is that it actually has a vertical asymptote. Remember, exponentials have a horizontal asymptote, and since logs and exponentials are inverses of each other, the x's and y's switch. Now, instead of the asymptote being y equals 0, it's x equals 0, which is a vertical line. All right. Now, domain of this, I'd be greater than 0, and for my range, it's going to be all real numbers because it never stops going up and down. Now let's move over to our transformed function. So what are these transformations doing? Well, this one right here, when I add 3, that is going to be moving to the left 3. And then when I subtract 4 on the outside, that's going to be going down 4. So I can move these points accordingly. We can also write ourselves a nice new t-chart. So let's do that. So if I'm moving to the left 3, that means I'm actually subtracting 3 from my x. So my first point would be -2. And if I'm moving down 4, that'd be -4. And then for the 2, I'm going to the left 3, which would be -1. And for the 1, if I'm going down 4, I'd be subtracting 4, I'd get -3. And then for the 4, if I'm going, again, subtract 3, I'm going to get +1. And then if I'm going down 4, I'm going to get -2. All right, so those are my ordered pairs. There's no other transformations here. So let's go ahead and graph this. I'll graph this one in a darker blue color since it's my, actual one we wanted to graph. So I've got -2, -4, -1, -3, and 1, -2. So I've got these 3 points, but what else is going to change here? Since this graph shifted to the left 3, my asymptote will also shift to the left 3. So I've got that vertical asymptote at x equals -3. That is my new vertical asymptote. All right, now I can go ahead and graph this, so I can shape it around that, and there we go. It's the same looking graph, it's just been shifted down and to the left. Cool. So let's talk domain and range about this one, shall we? So if I'm talking domain and range here, well, my domain, that's going to be, let's see here. It shifted to the left, -3, so the smallest it can ever get is not quite to -3 because it's never going to touch that asymptote, right, or cross it. So that means that x is going to be greater than -3, or if you wanted to write in interval notation, it would be -3 to infinity. There we go. And then if I want to go with my range here, my range, those are my y values. It never stops going down. It never stops going up. So it's y equals all real numbers, or you could say from -infinity to infinity if you wanted to do interval notation. So there you have it. We got ourselves a wonderful log graph. We use exponentials to help us graph it, and then some transformations. There's a few different methods for this. So if this one was like, hey man, I don't like this one, I've never seen this before, you know what? This is how I like to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed. All right, America Freedom, rock and roll Costco, River Dog Jenny on the gram. Yo, Ro. Have a wonderful day.